Alright guys, and welcome back to another Big Owl Devon video, and that is my dog barking in the background, which is quite appropriate because this video is all about dogs, specifically Staffordshire Bull Terriers, but not just them, all dogs who are prone to losing hair. As you can see, little Arlo there, you can see he's got a big bald patch on, well, not bald patch, but he's balding on his head, on his right head, and partly above his elbow. He's also balding on his chest a little bit and a little bit on his legs. Now this is perfectly normal for staffie breeds. It's not an abnormal thing. It's not something that you have to worry about until it gets really bad, or it's been caused by something like an illness, or major infestation of fleas or anything along those lines. But sometimes it just happens naturally. Now there are a few things you can do that if you have a staffie, like my beautiful Arlo over here, or you have a dog that has similar problems, it would be a short-haired dog, what you can do, there are a few things to try and counter the hair loss, replace and repair and replace the hair loss. Now we've been to the vets already just to make sure that it's not an illness, and we're through the preliminary stages, and typically it's mites. It's for staffies, typically it's mites, some form of infestation that they're more susceptible to than other dogs, because all dogs have some form of mite on them at one point or another, even if it's just a simple dust mite. And it could be that staffies just tend to have like a sort of natural allergy to them, and that allergic response is to lose their hair. This is what the vet told us anyway. I'm no vet, I don't know, but apparently that's why staffies are more susceptible. Obviously genetics come into play as well, and she gave us to help him, just so you can see there, the bald patch on his ear. Yeah, I don't want to wake him up because he's very sleepy. We played a lot of fetch today. We played fetch for probably on and off 5 to 6 hours today. He's very, very sleepy. But one of the things that can help is obviously the vet will be able to prescribe additional medications. Okay, so she first of all provided us with an extra powerful flea applicator, where you put the drops on the back of the dog. When you do that, there are stronger ones available that are not available in pet stores that you can only get for vets, and they will give you them. It helps protect them against a whole multitude of things as well, not just like mites and fleas, but it also helps protect against things like worms and stuff like that to some degree, and other parasitic infections. So those drops are really useful, and hopefully those stronger drops will have made a difference. Now she's given us 3 or 4 months supply, I can't quite remember. But the supply, he's been on it for about a month and a half now. You can see it hasn't really made much of a difference, so it's probably not the mites doing it, or if it is, it just takes a lot longer for obviously the hair to grow back. Now the other thing is of course allergies, and this is what we think it is in this case. He is allergic, we believe, to or more prone to allergic reactions like this when he eats food with wheat in. And we had him on raw meat for a long time, raw food, and he excelled upon it. He was fantastic. He was lively, he had a lot of energy, he looked healthy, his coat was glossy and shiny, and there were no real significant bald patches, just the ones that he was naturally born with, which were very minor, very small. But when we put him onto the drier food, the kibble, I think it's called, obviously you don't always know what goes into that, and even though they say it's 100% natural, it's not always 100% natural. And he was fine on a number of brands, but then we put him on one brand and then this happened. Now I don't know if it's coincidence, and I'm not going to put the brand here verbally, because I feel that'd be unfair, because we don't have the proof yet that it was that brand that caused this. And at the end of the day, it's just one of those. It's not hurt him. It's not the food itself was poorly made. It's just didn't work for him, and it's an expensive and well-respected brand also. So I don't want to do them disregard when I feel that they're not really to blame for it. But it's a bit of a coincidence. As soon as he went on it, within literally days, he started losing loads of hair, and so we've taken him off that now, and we've put him back on. Well, we're beginning to reintroduce him to raw foods. There's been a significant improvement. He was far worse than this, especially around the head region, and he also has around the legs, a couple of bald patches, and on the chest. He had some real bad bald patches there, where he'd lost significant amount of hair. The head's not so bad because he always had thinner hair on the head anyway. It looks like part of his markings, but on the chest and the legs you could see the bare skin underneath, and it was like pink, like my own, you know. And that was distressing to see. It was upsetting because I didn't want to see him ill, and so after taking him to the vets and all the rest of it, as I say, our decision, it's obvious to us that it's the food that's been causing it. Now, he's been off the food for roughly 2 weeks, I think it is, roughly 2 weeks, let's call it. And he's already shown an improvement in energy levels. He doesn't get super hyper. So obviously the kibble had carbohydrates in there, which are not for dogs. Dogs are carnivores. They're supposed to eat meat, protein, okay? Carbohydrates, they get through other sources like animal fats and stuff, their energy, okay? And they get it through protein. So obviously had a load of carbohydrates in there, and made him just go hyper literally for like an hour. He'd just run up and down the room. So on his last meal, just before bed, not about an hour to a couple of hours before bedtime, he was a nightmare on it. Now he's back to his normal, you know, chilled out, as you can see, self. And this is not that late. I don't know if I can tell you time. This is 8:47 that I'm filming this at the moment. So, you know, normally we'd have another hour and a half before we put him to bed, and he's already sleepy and ready to go to bed. So, and he's just eaten not long ago, about half an hour ago. So he's got not that. That's the advantage of raws. You know what you're giving them, and you know that you're not giving them a load of shit. And as I say, in that kibble, even though it's a respected brand, I would say it obviously has a huge amount of carbohydrates in there, which is not good for your dogs. It's not good for their attitude. It can be fun, especially if you've got kids in the house, which I don't, but, you know, obviously the dog will play with the kid and will be hyper for an hour or two, but he, you know, it's not a nice thing to think that you're giving food to a dog, to something that you love, that is bad for it, essentially. In the long term, it's not gonna hurt it in the short term. It's just gonna give like those hyper phases and stuff like that. But it's in the long term could potentially kill them, or shorten their lifespan, or give them illness. Okay, long term, serious illness. Okay. There is a program on this actually at the moment, I think on Netflix, which I actually watched, which was really interesting. A documentary. I think it's on Netflix. I forget the name of it. If I think of it, I'll try and put it in the description below, or you can put it in the comments yourself, guys, if you know what I'm talking about. But it talks about dog food and how we don't know what's in it, and it was distressing. And so that was the final push for me and my girlfriend to say, nah, we're putting him back onto raws, because at least then we know what we're giving him. The first time round, the reason we stopped was, if I'm honest, we got it wrong. We didn't know quite what we were doing, and we got a little scared when he started having diarrhea. But apparently it wasn't diarrhea. It was very natural. It was just his body detoxificating, getting rid of all the, well, literally, sorry for saying the word here, guys, but literally getting rid of all the shit out of his system. And all the stuff that his body doesn't need, that he's got from, you know, standard pet foods. It was just literally leaking out of it, you know, coming out of his body, and it was not apparently that's just natural stage. It lasts a few weeks. But when we saw that, after about a week, we just thought, oh God, we're poisoning the poor fella. And we stopped. And so we learnt our mistakes. There was also a few other things that we were doing. I think we were giving him a little bit too much offal. But we've got the percentages right now for meat, offal and bone, and we know how to give it, and we know how to give it cheaply, because before we were doing it in such a manner that it was too expensive to maintain. It was costing him 5, 6, 7 quid a day to feed him, and it should cost 1 or 2 quid really to feed him on raws, mate. You know what I mean? So, you know, for what will be a big dog when he's a fully grown adult. So, and that was a puppy, you know, at the time, a 3-4 month old puppy, costing 5, 6 quid a day. It was astounding how expensive it was, but we learnt our lessons. Now, this video is obviously not about diet, but it is obviously all about dogs, so I might as well talk about it whilst it's on my mind. But the one thing that we learnt is apparently that this stuff can help coconut oil with the regrowth of hair if gently applied to the bald or balding areas on the body. Humans use it as well, but it is safe for dogs to use coconut oil, and we're going to apply it, well, I'm going to apply it to his head, and I'm going to try and put it on his chest and his legs. It just depends how tired he is. As you can see, he's absolutely knocked out at the moment, and this might distress him a little bit because he might not know what's going on. It's the very first time, as you can see, he's still sealed, that he's had this put on. I'm going to try and film me doing it, but filming with animals is never predictable, guys, so I apologise if he goes off shot, my camera gets knocked, or I just have to pause the camera, but I will show you at least the end results, which will be exactly the same as that, unfortunately, because once we're rubbed in, it's clear, you're not going to be able to see it, but hopefully, if I do a video in about another couple of months' time, you might see all the hair come back. We're doing this for him. Obviously, he's not a show dog or anything like that. He's just a family member, and we love him, and we don't want him to suffer. He's not suffering, it's not hurting him, the baldness, but nonetheless, we want him at perfect health, as good as health as we can possibly give him. Right then, so I'm going to place the camera here. He hates cameras. He knows what cameras are, and if you point a camera at him, there you go, he will get out of the way. What I'm going to try and do is, I've just unsealed this. Little baby, you can't eat it. I just need to just apply it into you. It's okay. Don't need to resist too much, baby. It's just like you're getting a gentle hair massage. Oh yeah, doesn't that feel good? Oh, what a lovely little dog you are. Oh, a little lovely head massage. You like your head massages? I give you them regularly, don't I? Every day I give you a head massage. Not quite like this. But I did give you a head massage, didn't I? Oh, come here. Relax. It's for your good. Well, give us a kiss. There we go. Now you can see the baldness here, the pink patch on his chest. That's the next area that we want to get. So that's his head done. His chest, he doesn't like being touched as much, because I don't know if it's sore, or I'm going to use the camera to try and guide me. I don't know if it's sore, if it's just that he's just not used to it, but let's rub that in there. Nice. Oh, you're such a good boy. You sit like a human being. Are you tired? Are you yawning? And hopefully, what we'll see is this will not necessarily by itself give hair growth back, but it helps, and that's all we're trying to do. It helps. Can I have a look at this paw? Can you show me this paw? I'm just stressing you too much, aren't I? Okay, but we got enough done there, and I woke him up. So I do apologise, guys, if that seemed a little cruel, but it's something that had to be done. Unfortunately, I didn't get time earlier to do it. But as you can see, his head and his chest got done. I didn't get his arm. I'll get that later. I'll get my girlfriend to do it. She's got a little bit more gentle than me, and she knows which arm it is. I can't actually see. Oh, there it is. It's on the hind leg. So Look at that. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's nice, isn't it? That's nice, isn't it, baby? You like that now, don't you? So you don't have to be afraid of it. There we go. At least I found where it was. It was his hind leg and a little bit more here on his upper front leg. Almost his chest. Actually, that's quite a bad bulk patch. If I get the camera, I'm going to get the camera once I've put the cream on, because as I say, Arlo hates cameras. He hates them. He knows exactly what they are. Can I put it here? Can I put it here? No. Okay. He's a clever dog. He's a clever dog, as you can see. Oh, he's a clever dog. He's running away. Okay, well, I'm sorry guys, but I can't actually show you the actual sort of what's going on there, what I've put on, what areas were covered and how they look, how bad they are. But there, as you can see, there was pink. Oh, it's a wrong hand. They were as pink as that. Not pink, not black like that. And so I hope, guys, what this will do, this coconut oil will help with hair loss. And so if you're a little blighter out there, is suffering from similar things, or maybe even yourself, full head of hair, luckily myself at the moment, at least. Anyway, I'm going grey, but I'm not going bald. Then hopefully that will help him, or at least soothe him to some degree if it is distressful. That's all I've got to say about it, guys. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate the views, especially with YouTube at the moment, trying to get rid of all the small channels. So please give me the thumbs up if you like this video. Share the video. That's the best way to support the channel, because it gets me more subscribers, and I need more subscribers, because otherwise they might try and get rid of the channel, guys, in the future, because the way that they're changing AdSense at the moment. They won't be telling people like yourselves who just watch videos, but people who make videos, they're making it very hard for us to continue making videos anyway, and at least benefit from it anyway. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.